Welcome to the Folk School on Willow Creek, featuring University Distinguished Professor Tom Easern, singing and telling stories from the Salon on Willow Creek.
Now come all jolly fellows who delight in being mellow. Attend to me now, I beseech you. For a pint when it's quiet, come boys, let us try it. For thinking will drive a man crazy. I have lawns, I have bowers, I have fruits, I have flowers, and a lark is my daily alarmer. So jolly boys now, is Godspeed the plough, long life and success to the farmer. Come sit at my table, all those who are able, and I'll hear not one word of complaining. For the tinkling of glasses all music surpasses, and I long to see the bottles a-draining. For here I am king, I can laugh and sing, and let no man approach as a stranger. Just show me the ass who refuses his glass, and I'll treat him to hay in a manger. For I have lawns, I have bowers, I have fruits, I have flowers, and the lark is my early alarmer. So jolly boys now, here's Godspeed the plough, long life and success to the farmer. Let the wealthy and great roll in splendor and state. I envy them not, I declare it. For I eat my own lamb, my own chickens and my ham. I shear my own fleece and I wear it. Were it not for my seeding, you'd have but poor feeding. I'm sure you would all starve without me. But I am content when I have paid my rent, and I'm happy when friends are about me. I have lawns, I have bowers, I have fruits, I have flowers, and the lark is my daily alarmer. So jolly boys now, here's Godspeed the plough, long life and success to the farmer. We're just back from the annual meeting of the Agricultural History Society, so it seemed like that song was a good opening number for this week's Willow Creek Folk School, number 111. The Farmer's Toast, also known as Long Life and Success to the Farmer, Godspeed the Plough, and other names. It's a song from the old country. It's an English song, and its origins remain a little hazy to me. I've searched into this, but not terribly diligently, and perhaps I don't need to. How's it bear on the prairies of North America here? The song does get here, sort of in fragmentary fashion. I find as early as the 1860s, it's being reproduced in newspapers on the prairies, particularly in Kansas, the new state of Kansas at that time in the 1860s. I find it in Lawrence, Kansas already in 1866, and then cropping up in many towns around there, and then spreading into Nebraska. This is kind of logical with the chronology of settlement on the plains. By the time settlement gets up into the northern plains, we do see it popping up in Jamestown, North Dakota, by 1890. Matter of fact, the local correspondent, you know how I love the local correspondence, put it in the Windsor and Mount Pleasant Notes in September of 1890. The set of stanzas that I sang are sort of selected from many variant versions in the old country. About really here on the prairies, only two stanzas come through. And they come through in particular because crockery and pottery companies would print them on beer steins and jugs and things like this. Well, because it's a drinking song. And also local newspapers, particularly if they had a hardware store dealer who was appealing for a farm trade, or if the paper was having an agricultural issue or, a seasonal page on agriculture, then they would print Godspeed the Plough. Ordinarily, they only printed the versions, let the wealthy and great roll in splendor and state, so on. And then I have fruit and I have flowers, the chorus there. And those are the same stanzas that commonly appeared on beer steins in the 19th century and early 20th century. Hey, maybe you own one. If you do, let us know. I'd like to see one. Post a photograph of it. They had to have been pretty common currency a century and more ago. Godspeed the Plough. As late as the 1940s, I find it showing up in prairie newspapers from Oklahoma, Kansas, and so on. A toast to the farmer. Well, a toast to the farmer because, as I say, we're just back from the Agricultural History Society meeting, and and the song just reeks with what on this side of the Atlantic we can refer to as farm fundamentalism. The idea that farming is basic, that everybody else is dependent upon the farm and the farmer for their welfare, and we'll pick that up here yet before the program's over tonight with The Farmer is the Man. We're putting that one into the song bag tonight. I'm going to grab a guitar here and get this program carried on a little farther. I need a bed for the night, boys, and my horses need hay. I've been riding that road line on the hot bush highway. You know how I love new discoveries and balladry from the Great Plains, and I've got one here, and I expect we'll have one every night here for coming weeks. They keep coming out. I keep saying it's like rocks on the prairie on the northern plains here, and the glaciated prairie here, which is an unfamiliar thing to the people on the southern plains. Those glacier rocks, they just keep heaving up with freezing and thawing. Every year there's a new crop of them coming to the surface. And that's the way it is, it seems, with these folk songs as I plow through the old newspapers and source material. The one I've got tonight is suited for a season, which is a little bit of a season of loss and also anticipation of new beginning. The school terms are commencing here. We've got several family members who are school teachers. And we are ourselves, of course, here at the college level here. But we've got a week or so yet of slack yet, whereas our kids who are teaching in the public schools, they're at it this week. So, well, let's. I thought there has to be a schoolmarm ballad back there in the history of the Great Plains. I started searching for the Schoolmarm's Lament, and I got nothing, and tried things like that. Or the Ballad of the Schoolmarm. Oh, I'm not coming up with anything. And then I hit this. It's called Pick Your Schoolmarm. This evidently comes from the Morris County, Kansas Normal Training Institute in the summer of 1899. Now, for those of you who are teachers, this is the equivalent of your in-service days. It's not the formal certification session, but it's your county gathering of the school teachers. And, I found another article here. It appears that Morris County, Kansas, the seat of Morris County is Council Grove. Wonderful town, right, Kelly? Yeah, Council Grove.
Yes.
With an independent bookstore. Yes, indeed.
And a lovely bed and breakfast.
85 school districts in Morris County in 1899, and the teachers came together for their Morris County Teachers Institute that summer. It was August of 1899, and one of them penned some lines about the school teachers there, and they took. And then they began to copy them over into papers and other areas, and other people claim to have written these stanzas, but I'm pretty sure they originated in White City, Kansas, August of 1899. And were published in the White City Register. The editor just says, here are a few lines written by a girl in attendance at teacher's normal meaning teacher training session. And they pop around here, and I see this thing bouncing around in the newspapers is at least as late as 1917. I find it in the Herald Democrat of Beaver, Oklahoma, that's out in the Panhandle. Pick your schoolmarm. Okay, take this one with some geniality. Is there some objectification of the schoolmarms in this ballad? Yes. Was there such on the ground in every school district in Morris County or throughout the prairies? Yes. The schoolmarm was an object of observation and interest in every community. Let's see. Okay, pick your schoolmarm. There are a couple terms in here, and you'll notice them as we go through. And if they're unfamiliar to you, I can define them as a recap before we wrap up on this song. Pick your schoolmarm, originating in White City, Kansas, 1899. And it seemed to apply all over the place, judging by people's reaction. Schoolmarm's short, schoolmarm's tall, schoolmarm's with no shape at all. Schoolmarm's lean, schoolmarm's fat, schoolmarm's in a sailor hat. Schoolmarm's handsome, schoolmarm's homely, schoolmarm's plain and schoolmarm's comely. Schoolmarm's pert, polite and pretty, schoolmarm's wise and schoolmarm's witty. Schoolmarm's modest, schoolmarm's shy, schoolmarm's with twinkling eye. Schoolmarm's light, schoolmarm's dark, schoolmarm's here who never spark. Schoolmarm's freckled, schoolmarm's fair, schoolmarm's with long brick red hair. Schoolmarm's charming, schoolmarm's sweet, schoolmarm's with Chicago feet. Chicago feet, we'll get back to that in a minute. Schoolmarm's in organdy dresses, schoolmarm's with tow-colored tresses. Schoolmarm's here for mental learning, schoolmarm's here with mischief burning. Schoolmarm's here on their vacation, schoolmarm's here for osculation. Schoolmarm's showing sense and taste, schoolmarm's in the sweet shirt ways. Schoolmarm's with red rosy lips. Schoolmarm's broad about the hips. Schoolmarm's looking meeting Moses. Schoolmarms with big Roman noses. Schoolmarms small and schoolmarms slender. Schoolmarms old and far from tender. Schoolmarms proud, schoolmarms haughty. Schoolmarms aching to be naughty. Schoolmarms here with go and dash. Schoolmarms looking for a mash. Schoolmarms reared from blue blood stock. Schoolmarms who would stop a clock. Schoolmarms with a winning smile. Schoolmarms sober all the while. Schoolmarms green as emerald hue. Schoolmarms smart as lightning too. Schoolmarms homesick. Schoolmarms sad. Schoolmarms with flea bites and mad. Schoolmarms here by every nation. Schoolmarms here from all creation. Schoolmarms bless us everywhere. Take your pick and call it square. Pick your schoolmarm, 1899. Well, Dr. K, you're supposed to keep me on course with the order of service, and I've already left some stuff out, so shall we catch up?
I was waving at you, but you didn't see me.
Oh, all right. We are just back from 2 weeks in Norway, where we attended the annual working tour, right?
Yeah, I'm so tired.
Pretty much, I am tired. I think it's mostly jet lag. Yeah, home from Norge, and the annual meeting, the Agricultural History Society with Dr. K. We were both at that meeting. And so I've proposed that we each declare 3 things we found remarkable about the trip and the situation and the place, all right? And I'm going to start.
Okay, but we should reckon that the trouble was picking only
3. It was 2 remarkable weeks, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Every day full of stuff. One of the things, of course, was we spent 3.5 days with the Agricultural History Society, a scholarly association, meeting at the University of Stavanger. And I have to say the hospitality extended to us by the university at Stavanger was exemplary. And the Agricultural History Society upheld its reputation for scholarship. I don't know. This is a matter of taste. Then maybe not everyone wants to spend 3 days in sessions of 20-minute scholarly papers, one after another. But it was a welcome interlude for us, I think. And so that's my first impression. It's the first time the Agricultural History Society has ever met offshore outside the United States, other than one session in Canada 1 year. That's my first outstanding impression.
And we should add too that we came away reinvigorated.
Research,
yes. Well, the first one I picked is recognizing the culture of quiet in Norway.
Uh-huh.
As Americans, we're pretty used to there being noise. When cars go by, there's music blaring and thumping. When you're in a cafe, maybe someone might be having a phone conversation next to you. People not trying really to be quiet, and Norwegians are much different when it comes to being in spaces with each other. So we had breakfast without a background TV noise, without people talking loudly and things clattering. It was just all so calm and peaceful because of this recognition about not intruding upon another person's space.
That was remarkable, the sitting in okay, I'll come to breakfast in a moment, but in a room full of tables, all full of people, every table with the conversation going, but everybody was audible at their own table.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Well, speaking of breakfast, then, breakfast is, of course, a big deal for hotels and hospitality in Norway, and it's huge. And it's a lot of items that are non-standard for an American buffet. This is not your, Best Western motel breakfast as you get in the state. It's more akin to the breakfast buffet at the Hotel Fort Garry, let's say, of Winnipeg, that sort of thing here. In addition to the herring,
I managed not to eat any pickled herring.
It seems like they would try to cater to the English taste. You got your proper English breakfast. Got the eggs and the beans. You got the crock of beans there, and sausages and bacon and so on, along with all the cold cuts. Always bread and schmore. Fresh butter, so you can lay down your base on your plate as you go through. And then, to me, the most notable proposition on the table was the brunost, the Norwegian brown cheese. And sure enough, it's in our refrigerator now, isn't it? This is entering the bill of fare at the residence on Willow Creek here. In general, we enjoy dining wherever we go. We're always trying to pick up a thing or two by way of a new wrinkle to bring home. Okay, so
there was
eating.
one other thing I think you were going to mention about food, and that was our stop at the rhubarb plantation.
Indeed. That wasn't so much new as reinforcement of our affection for that product of high latitudes, rhubarb, and its use in sauces or juices and syrups.
Yes. And we learned you can eat the seed head.
Yeah, I'm still unconvinced about that part.
Well, we'll still try it.
I suppose we can.
Okay. Well, my second choice to talk about was navigating public transportation. I did not grow up in a place where you used public transport. There didn't exist. And most of my life, I've never lived where there was public transportation. We do have a bus system here in Fargo. But learning to ride trains from the airport to the hotel, back and forth. That was such a convenient way to travel. And then our routes around town and throughout the conference, we traveled by bus. And the people at the bus station helped us out because directions were mostly in Norwegian. We didn't know where we're going, but everybody was very helpful. And the bus rides gave us all a chance to visit and talk even more. So I really enjoyed that part of the stay. Our
friends who followed our travels know we had our issues with Norwegian railways, as trains not happening, train connections not happening. But when we finally did get on that train home, starting the journey home, we had to get from Stavanger to Oslo. That 8 hours across Norway.
We could call it sublime.
It was a fine train journey, no doubt about it.
Yeah, and even for the train that did not arrive when it was supposed to, they almost immediately put us on a big coach bus and had us on en route to where everybody needed to be on time.
Now, my third thing on the list then of notable stuff is dead poets. There are so many, here in Cass County, North Dakota, we live in a country that has a Norwegian dominant settlement pattern. And consequently, we have a lot of Norwegian monuments around here. Well, we find that we come by that tendency honestly here. Related subject, we did track down the bust of Lincoln given by the people of North Dakota to the people of Norway and dedicated there by Governor Hanna in Frosner Park of Oslo on July the 4th of 1914. So we got the Lincoln. We got to the Lincoln. But most of all, we roamed around Frosner Park and all that, and the Vigeland Museum and the sculpture park there, which is just has to be seen to be believed. Vigeland was a sculptor. I already knew that he was a sculptor of the bronze Vigeland, or Van Vergeland, the Vigeland Vergeland, the Vigeland sculpture of Henrik Vergeland, Norwegian's great romantic poet, that stands in Island Park of Fargo. So we go into the Vigeland Museum there in Oslo, and then hiding in the corner of it is Vigeland's plaster cast for the Vergeland bronze that's here in Fargo. Later we get to Christiansand, and darned if there isn't a Vergeland Park alongside the town square there, a duplicate of the statue identical to the one that stands in Fargo, North Dakota. So there's more to unravel of that story, but we began to make these connections. And that led us on what I call the Dead Poets Tour, looking at these connections of poets, linguists, composers, philologists, all the people of culture that are so revered here and memorialized here in monuments, and finding them and their monuments there. And last night we were in Oslo then, racing around Our Savior's cemetery there to find a number of monuments, beginning with Henrik Vergeland's memorial there. So Dead Poets was my third thing. What's your third thing?
That was a great track. My museum studies background made me especially interested in visiting your museums. One of them that we went to was the Petroleum Museum. Petroleum being this resource for all the good things that are going on in Norway, public infrastructure, all kinds of education possibilities, lots of things that are funded through their oil resource. And that began in the 1970s, all of it offshore. I was anticipating something along the lines of what I might see here in the U.S. with a good deal of propaganda about how great it is. And but the difference is, in Norway, the government owns the oil monies, and of course in the U.S. it's companies and private enterprise. So the storyline was really about exploration, discussion about safety and how things should be, how it should be managed for the good of everyone. And that was just a great storyline. Very dense with lots of information.
Exhausting museum.
Yeah, I'm sure we spent 2 hours there. Could have spent more.
And then it was getting ready to close, but I was about to collapse anyway, so it was time.
But I'm so glad we got to go in and experience it.
Yeah, the Norwegian Petroleum Museum. Have to recommend that in Stavanger.
Absolutely.
Well, I also meant to inquire, you haven't want to report anything from the press, North Dakota State University Press.
Yeah, I'm just going to say real quickly, we've had a little bit of a change in staffing. Sarah Beck came to us almost a year ago, but she has now taken on a position at NDSU teaching. So she's on a 10-year track position now teaching, and we congratulate her and very happy for her. That meant she was leaving press though, and I was kind of used to having some assistants there. So I'm really glad to say that we have been able to hire a new person. Her name is Rosie Haddon, and she is going to work with the press part-time and with your department part-time. But she started this week. We'll share nicely. Anyway, so if you're corresponding with the press in any way, you may see Rosie's name pop up as well.
Well, I said I'd return to the in recognition of our recent experience with the Agricultural History Society, return to the subject of farm fundamentalism as expressed on this side of the Atlantic, and I've got it. We've got the goods on a number of venerable prairie folk songs that people didn't used to know where they came from. But as I say, in the past 2 years, we've been tracking them down, often to the very headwaters. And that's the case with a song known as The Farmer is the Man, which is a ringing ballad of farm fundamentalism, if there ever was one. We're putting that one into the song bag tonight. And so I'm going to be singing here in a moment. But before we do, we're going to get some notes on the provenance, the origins of the ballad from Dr. K.
Okay. I was just putting in a quick invitation to visit historyrfd.net.
Right.
Okay. The farmer is the man, provenance. Attendees at Farmers Union summer camps in North Dakota find in the songbooks they are issued, mixed in with summer camp standards and popular hits, a musical relic of the earliest days of farm activism on the Great Plains. The farmer is the man, a stirring statement of farm fundamentalism. The original text first appears published in the Osage Mission News, a newspaper in northeast Kansas, from January 14, 1874. A week previous, the editor had teased the composition with a note, quote, Grange Song. The song, composed by the Reverend Knowles Shaw, was not received in time for publication this week, but will appear in your next issue. It is a genuine Granger song with the true ring, and we predict for it a popular run. The genuine Granger song comprises 7 5-line stanzas plus a 6-line chorus. The text, melody, and form are somewhat different from versions as sung in the 20th century, but the 1874 work by Reverend Shaw is unmistakably the progenitor of them all. Shaw, a celebrated hymn writer, was also the author of Bringing in the Sheaves, to which The Farmer is the Man has obvious kinship. But the Granger anthem differs both from its kindred hymn and its descendant folk songs in the melodic conclusion of its chorus. It closes on the third rather than the tonic. The Granger song survived as part of the movement culture of farm activism and resurged during the days of the Farmers Alliance and People's Party in the 1890s, especially in Kansas, where many newspapers printed stanzas. The old song found 20th century life with the rise of the Farmers Union, particularly in Nebraska. Although Pete Seeger sometimes gets credit as author, we now know that the composer of The Farmer is the Man was, in fact, the singing evangelist Knowles Shaw. Shaw emerged from a tough childhood in Ohio to local renown as a fiddler, through a conversion story into a celebrated career as a revivalist preacher who wrote hymns and led the faithful in singing them. Commonly identified with other parts of the Middle West, Shaw from 1872 to 1874 was in Kansas, where he became enamored with the agrarian cause and evangelical style of the Grange.
Okay, so you're talking about the Grange and other things. You better get into that context.
I'd be happy to. The National Grange of the Patrons of Husbandry, commonly referred to as the Grange, and its adherents, commonly called Grangers, were outstanding exponents of the region's culture of balladry, deploying song as an organizational fixture for rallies and celebrations. The Grange partook of what historians of the Farmers Alliance and People's Party later would term the movement culture of farm folk. The year Knowles Shaw's ballad emerged, 1874, newspaper reports described the grand 4th of July celebration at Wildcat, Riley County, Kansas. Quote, gotten up and successfully carried out by the patrons of husbandry. At an early hour in the morning, we read, carriages and wagons loaded with living freight, and horsemen could be seen passing along the streets of Manhattan. The celebrants paused at the rural residence of S.D. Houston to form up into a grand procession that made its way to Wildcat, following the Manhattan Cornet Band and sporting the banners of their local granges. The banner of the Bluemont Grange bore its motto, quote, "The farmer is the man, sir." There ensued a day of fervid oratory and joyful singing, as well as toasts, non-alcoholic of course, to the dignity of labor, plow deep, hoe your own row, and one more, specifically addressed to U.S. Senator James Madison Harvey, who was present, "The farmer is the man, sir." And then an unplanned dance party broke out in the grove by the schoolhouse. Since then, wherever the farmer is the man has been sung, it has perpetuated the doctrine of farm fundamentalism, the belief that farming is not only a virtuous way of life, but also fundamental to prosperity, community, and the republic.
You may talk of all the nobles of the earth, and of kings who hold the nation in their thrall. Yet in this we must agree, if we only look and see, that the farmer is the man who feeds them all. Then take him by the hand, all ye people of the land, stand by him whatever troubles may befall. He may say whate'er we can, yes, the farmer is the man, oh, the farmer is the man who feeds them all. There's the president who occupies the chair of the nation in the mighty Congress Hall, and the members too are great, who are sent from every state, but the farmer is the man who feeds them all. There are governors and legislators too, who have pledged themselves to heed the people's call, that they labor nights and days, their own salaries to raise, who the farmer is the man who feeds them all. Then take him by the hand, all ye people of the land, stand by him whatever troubles may befall. We may say whatever we can, but the farmer is the man, yes, the farmer is the man who feeds them all. Then these speculators all about you know, and it seems they help each other roll the ball. As the people they can please, and then take so much apiece, but the farmer is the man who feeds them all. There's the preacher who can preach his sermon long, and the lawyer and the doctor, servants all. There's the tailor and the smith, and I tell you 'tis no myth, that the farmer is the man who feeds them all. Then take him by the land, all ye people of the land, stand by him whatever troubles may befall. We may say whatever we can, yes, the farmer is the man, yes, the farmer is the man that feeds us all. Now the day of reckoning's coming by and by. Great monopolies are surely doomed to fail. Then onward to the fight, let us battle for the right, for the farmer is the man who feeds them all. See, the patrons now are coming to the fight, and their armies too are not the weak and small. So God bless them while they sing, 'tis the farmer who's the king, for the farmer is the man who feeds them all. Take him by the hand, all the people of the land, stand by him whatever troubles may befall. We may say whatever we can, yet the farmer is the man. Yes, the farmer is the man who feeds us all. Well, the seasons changed. They progressed quite a bit while we were gone for 2 weeks. We can tell that by the size of the zucchini hanging out of the raised beds when we get home. What I call usually sometimes referred to as North Dakota crocodiles who were awaiting us when we came home. The darkness is upon us, before we finish the folk school here tonight, almost. And that means inevitably some other things are about to happen. Not just a school term, but you know what comes with that. August 18th is official opening day for high school football season in North Dakota.
I didn't guess that.
Yes, indeed. Which brings us to our calendar ballad for tonight. Have we got anybody misbehaving on the chat line here tonight?
Nobody is misbehaving, but there is some astonishment that I didn't eat the pickled herring.
I did.
But there are some people who have been to Norway before, so that's kind of fun to see too.
I'm suspecting there are. Any impressions they want to lodge in there, or any questions they have about our experience, they should drop them into the chat line there. We'll talk back to them in a little while.
I was going to put a link to our website, but I'm just not able to put links in.
Well, just type in historyrfd.net.
No, that's what it won't accept.
Yeah, we'll do it afterward then.
Right.
We'll get it in. Wait a minute, where's that? Missing a sheet of paper here. Oh, there it is. Excuse me, Angie.
Don't tip over.
I was afraid of disturbing the slumbers of the history dog here. Our calendar ballad for this week then, recognizing that, summer is about to escape us. But there might be good things yet awaiting. When you drive in the prairies and the work week is done, the horizon aglow at the setting of sun, and intense efflorescence your spirit invites, and you feel the attraction of Friday night lights. It's 2 bits and 4 bits and 6 bits a dollar. I'm too damned old to stand up and holler, but of all of our country town rituals and rites, the one I most savor is Friday night lights. Oh yes, we've got spirit of that, there's no lack. So push 'em back, push 'em back, push 'em way back. There's a rooster on a fence post and a tractor in the ditch. Come on, Hosmer, and let's beat Ipswich. It's 2 bits and 4 bits and 6 bits a dollar. I'm too damned old to stand up and holler, but of all of our country town rituals and rites, the one I most savor is Friday night lights. We don't care if you're beat up and your chances are gone. Just pick yourself up off the field and play on. You know that we love you the same as before, but we love you a lot more. But score us a touchdown and we'll love you more. It's 2 bits and 4 bits and 6 bits a dollar. I'm too damned old to stand up and holler, or remember the words to this song. But of all of our country town rituals and rites, the one I most savor is Friday night lights. But of all of our country town rituals and rites, the one I most savor is Friday night lights. Now it's not really true that your life is a game, but some of the lessons you learn are the same. Here's a piece of advice you can take if you please. Watch out for those trap plays, take care of your knees. Now it's 2 bits and 4 bits and 6 bits a dollar. I'm too damned old to stand up and holler, but of all of our country town rituals and rites, the one I most savor is Friday night lights. Dear, in the end, we'll play. I have lawns, I have bowers, I have fruits, I have flowers, and the lark is my daily alarmer. So jolly boys now, here's Godspeed the plough. Long life and success to the farmer. Schoolmarms in organdy dresses, schoolmarm with tow-colored tresses, schoolmarms here for mental learning, schoolmarms here, mischief burning. Now take him by the hand, all ye people of the land. Stand by him, whatever trouble may befall, for the farmer feeds us all. Well, seldom is heard, but a scourging word, and the skies are not cloudy, are not cloudy all the day. No, the skies are not cloudy all day. Dr. Kelly.
We now conclude today's edition of the Folk School on Willow Creek. We invite you to join us again next Friday at 8 p.m. Central Time for more songs and stories.